Hey, what's up, everybody? In this video here, we're going to talk about some debt that's being released on the market, and I'm going to talk about what to do about the debt if you find yourself being sued by one of these companies. And I go through it because it's just every day someone will pop up a message, and they're like, "What do I do?" So no matter what, there's always someone new. So if you've seen it, this is just uh, practice or, just a reminder of what to do so you know what to do if it happens to you. But for all of the new people, this is the way that you would deal with debt. The first thing let's talk about is the debt that's going to be released on the market. These are shopping network
New visitor.
and some retail credit cards. These are retail stores credit cards. One $1.39 million. They're selling it on the market for $1,500. Pennies on the dollar for this debt. One of the things that surprised me, well, it doesn't surprise me. I always see this, is that the debt original charge off was 2011, as we all know, and that's where we're going to start first. A debt that is past 7 years is going to not only be past statute of limitation to be on your credit reports, unless you do something stupid and allow them to be able to put it on your credit reports, is this debt is past statute of limitations for all 50 states unless there was a judgment. But when it's sold this way, I know 100% that there is no judgment on it, that people end up getting backed into a judgment by not following the steps that I'm about to tell you right now. So, what's going to happen is they're going to sell this debt. They're going to sell it to debt collectors. They're going to have this $1.3 million worth of debt. They're going to send out letters to everyone that's on that list of that owes these debts. If you don't respond, or if the person doesn't respond, it's going to allow it to go into step two. You have 30 days, or anyone that's in this list has 30 days to respond. They may be thinking that if I don't respond in 30 days because I don't remember owing this debt, or this debt is not mine, that it does not mean that it means that it has nothing to do with me. They can't move forward. It's actually the opposite. If you don't respond in the 30 days, it's like you're actually saying, yes, this is my debt, which will allow them to go to step two. Step two is to put it on your credit reports because they have proof that they sent it to your address and it didn't come back return to sender. And so now they have proof. They're going to use that address, and they're going to use the information that they purchased about you from the account to put it on your credit reports. So that's step two. Next thing they're going to do is, and let me back up, when you get that letter, that 30-day letter, and you see that it's past statute of limitations by looking up the contract law in your state, you would immediately send them a letter saying that this is past the statute of limitations for contract law in my state, and I want you to cease all collection activities. If you don't, I'm going to report you to the proper authorities, and you put CC, State Attorney General, or the Department of Financial Institution, whoever is in control of that for your state. That will make it go away. But if you don't respond and it gets to step number two, uh, or if it's not past statute of limitations, but this debt would be for everything. But if you mess up and it gets past step number two, which is where they get it on your credit report, then you have to do what's called a validation to them and a validation to the credit reporting agencies. When you do the validation to the credit reporting agencies, it's going to actually validate over to them, but you want to make it two steps so you put them on notice that you had a third party tell them, and that you actually also told them in a letter directly to them, because you're going to need that if this ends up going into court. But usually during that validation process, which is where you want to, number one, find out how the hell do you owe them when it used to be this other company. that it's, you're notifying them again that it's past statute of limitations. This is just in case you forgot to respond in that 30-day one. That this is still past statute of limitations, and you should just stay and fight there. Because if it's past statute of limitation, it does not matter if they bought it. It does not matter about all of the other stuff. As long as it's not a judgment, they cannot move forward. And when you notify them about that, they won't move forward. But now let's go into, just in case it's not past statute of limitation, we're not talking about this debt here. We're just saying that you receive something from a debt collector and it's not past statute of limitation. You then want to go through the process of doing a full validation. You do it with the credit reporting agencies, and they're going to send that over to the collection agency, but you're just doing that as a second notice, and then you validate directly to the collection agency. And when they receive that information, it should ask them questions like, first, tell me the relationship between you and me. How do I owe you when I used to owe this other company? And the only way you're going to know that information, that relationship, where you don't just go off of their words, is to get your credit reports. And on your credit reports, it'll state if it was sold to someone, because they have to reveal that to you. If it was sold to them, then you want them to still, number one, show you that it was sold, that they bought it, so you know that there's clarification between you, the old creditor, and them as the purchaser of the debt. They have to disclose that. They might try not to, but they have to disclose it. And then you want to make a request to get your balances, all of the payments made, signatures of all of the charges that you did, interest rate disclosures. You want to get all of that information from them, original contract with the credit card company. You want them to give you all of that information so you can review it. And again, listen to me closely. I'm not saying deny things, because this is the stuff that gets people into trouble. When people could show you that you actually had something. They can look at your credit reports and show that you had it. So why would you deny it? What you want to do is you want to make them prove things on a legal basis to show you that you actually owe them the money, and that this is not something that that could be could go away on a technicality. That's what you're actually looking for when you do the validation. It's just to find a technicality to where they will not be able to move forward on collecting that debt. So you want them to give you all of that information. And some of the times they may not try to give you that information, and they're going to go ahead and take you to court in a court summons, and they're going to have your last statement that you had with the credit card company, and they're going to write all of this stuff saying that you owe it. And on those summons, sometimes it says questions, sometimes they're statements. It's just going to, that's where you would make the answers to those, where they might say, this is your name. You live at this address, you had a credit card with this company, this was the balance with them. Those are questions. You must answer all of those. And on some of them, you're just going to say, I don't dispute. But when it gets to the one about what you owe that company, that's where you need to do the validation all over again. Send that request to response to the summons to the debt collector, and then you're also going to send that to the court, because you're going to need that information. If they don't stop at that time, you're going to need that information for when you go to court. And so they must prove it. They cannot just say that you owe the debt. They cannot just say that. The reason why they get away with doing that is because people just don't know their rights. So please, I'm going to end the video here, because I think that that's enough of where a lot of people seem to be mixed up at, and where a lot of people seem to be stuck at, where it's like, what can I do about what can I do about a debt that's coming after me? And these are the steps that you take at the beginning of it. That this right there, right there can resolve a lot of your problems when you're being sued by these companies that are buying debt. Is first at the beginning with statute of limitation, and then going through the process of the validation. So if you have any questions or comments, please type them below the video. If you need to get your credit reports and scores, because that's where you're going to have that information about what's actually on your reports, you need to, or who purchased the debt, if the original creditor sold it, it's going to be on your credit reports in the comment section. You could go get your credit reports at the link below, the number 3scores.com. If you need help, you have other questions that you'd like to talk to us personally about, you can go to our website, thecreditrepairshop.com, and we'll answer those questions for you. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everyone watching the videos. This is important to me to share this information and share it with your friends and family. Thanks a lot and have a great day.